Alright, so we've got another windy day here, and this is crazy, this wind, but I still got to get work done. It's actually a beautiful day to get work done. I always prefer a little wind when I'm working. So I'm just going to kind of share what we're doing today. And today I'm actually really just filling in the raised beds, so I'll show you what I'm doing. So right now I'm adding some spearmint into the beds. The raised beds are getting at a stage now where you see how they're growing in, what's going to be really nice and full, and what's going to actually have some bare spots. And we have a lot of leftovers. Leftovers are all the extra plants that we have left from seeding, and we use these to fill in the beds right now. And then if anything, you know, gets lost over time, then we can use them to fill in. So over here too, we're bumping things up like we showed in our other video. So we're getting those things going, but there's still some things that we didn't add in the garden. And that one was the spearmint. And I actually didn't realize that until yesterday when I was bumping things up, and I'm like, wait a minute, why is there a full tray of spearmint? We didn't add spearmint into the garden. So I'm kind of filling some of that in. That was the #1 thing to find a spot for and get that in so we have just a little bit for ourselves. But where we're filling in are more so areas where there's already flowers. So like right in here, you know, I never mind if things get too full with flowers and a possible flower may get taken over as everything grows in. That's fine with me. The only area I don't want to overfill are the areas where we have food. And as you can see right here in the back corners, we have onions growing there, so I'm not going to fill it in with flowers to make that area even prettier. Like, that area is strictly for food, so we're gonna leave that area alone, but just kind of fill in with spearmint since we don't have any in the garden yet. So this was the area that I kind of chose. This year these zinnias are the Pulcino mix, or Pulcino, I don't know how you wanna say it. Pronounce it, I don't know. I'm just gonna go with Pulcino. I'll put the spelling right below for you guys. But as these are growing, I'm noticing that they're not gonna get really large. So they're only like an 8 to 10 inch zinnia, which is really nice because they still get like that really pretty larger flower on them, and they're really vibrant. So they look nice. Usually I do the Dreamlands. I wasn't able to get my hands on the Dreamlands this year. I waited too long. You know, when I was working at my parents' garden center this year, I kind of waited too long on a few things, which, you know what, pushes me to do something new and different. So that's all right. You know, you always just kind of have to flow. So don't forget that spearmint is a mint, and it can be invasive. So keep it contained or put it somewhere that you don't want it to spread. We're okay with that. It grows up through its roots and rhizomes, so it really can spread crazy. I'll show you our mint over here. We've had this one now, I think this is like its 4th year, and you just really have to control it if you have it in a raised bed. But I love how it pops out in the raised bed, you know, like right where the wood connects there. I just think that looks so cool. But the reality of it is that we do have to keep maintaining it. So it keeps popping up, which is okay for us. You know, we know that's what it's gonna do. But we just kind of have to, you know, keep pulling it out. In the beginning of the year, we really like pull hard, and then you get like the rhizomes which are coming off of like a large rope underneath, just like, you know, a lot of invasive weeds do. And we're okay with that. But if you're not, this would be better. Any type of mint would be better just to contain in a pot. And any pot will do. I love putting herbs in containers. Like, to me it always looks so pretty and kind of like English garden-like, you know, it's always so nice. So even just like these are just cheap plastic pots. These aren't, you know, the terracotta hard pots. These are nice and light, even though I know terracotta pots aren't really expensive either. But this is, you know, these are pots that we use all the time. But we grow a lot of rosemary because we love it and we love harvesting it. You can always find a cheap pot, especially at the end of the season. Sorry for the background noise, but my kids love riding with their cousins, so there's no stopping that. So I don't want to add too much spearmint in there, so there's still a few other areas that I kind of want to fill in, so I'm going to kind of go gander over here. I noticed I still have some of the shorter pink Zahara zinnias here. These are really nice too. They get a cute little hot pink flower. They come in other colors as well, like orange and yellow. So I was on my way walking over here, and then I had to stop because I see my calendula over here is blossoming and it's hot orange. Holy cow, that is gorgeous. So this is the time that you'd want to harvest them, is right when they're a fresh flower. Early morning, like right now, it's not super early, but morning time when it's just opened, that's a perfect time to harvest it. And all you do is place it on a screen or on a piece of paper or on a plate. You can put it inside of a cabinet, anywhere, just let it dry, or you can even dehydrate them. Ooh, I see more. I see more. And I see some white moths. So when you start seeing white moths like this, that's when you need to start looking for worm damage. And once you got worm damage, we use Monterey BT. We get the high concentrate and mix our own. And anywhere that we see the larvae and the worms, we spray it on there. And you have to do it a couple times. If you're organic, you have to spray a couple times. One time isn't gonna knock it out. So it's a little more work, but it's worth it. All right, well, I'm gonna get back to planting. I've got a lot to plant. I just can't let these flowers go to waste here, so I'm gonna harvest them. And I just make sure to shake them off then, get any bugs that are on them off of them. Who would have ever known that these little flowers right here are antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. They help with injuries and skin issues. What's up, girls? How was riding? Good. We heard you. We heard vroom vroom. Do you have fun? Yeah. So this can help with your digestion. What do you girls think of that? This little pretty flower. What do you think of that? Like your whole digestive system. Breaking down foods. Working it through the body. What do you think of that?
Smell it, camera.
If only there was a smell button, huh? Let's smell it. It does. It smells nice and sweet.
It should smell like
I think I got a little black bug in my hair, actually. I do.
Is it a horse?
Yeah.
Fly?
No, it's not.
Or is it a tick?
No, no ticks. I think we're done with tick season. We don't get as many now that we don't have mulch in the garden. We actually started off with mulch in our raised bed area, and we had such terrible amounts of ticks. Like, you would sit there and you would literally see them jumping on you. And every night we'd have to pull them off of us. It was disgusting. And so then we went to pea gravel, and we haven't really had that problem unless, of course, you're walking through tall grasses or in our wild area. I mean, it's only natural to have them, but it's crazy because I never had a tick my entire life growing up. So it was really new for us. And the first year we got it was the first year that we had that mulch. So I don't know. Stone pile pie.
Oh, I can make one fast.
Uh-oh, now it's a competition. Who's gonna make one faster?
I'm already done.
All right, we're just kind of making sure all the bugs and stuff kind of come off. And then we'll lay them out and then we'll let them dry. So as you can see, this water is dirty. This is actually after the second time that I clean them. So that's why it's really good to kind of, you know, let them soak in the water and then rinse them off. And then I'm just gonna let them drip dry here, and then we'll move them over to our drying rack. I know you're probably like, all this work for 3 little flowers, but you gotta cut them when they're ready, but they will have a large group of them ready at once, but I just don't want them to go to waste. I really wanna try them and utilize them in teas, and we'll see what else we use them in. So now we come into my basement of wonders. It's real dark and real cool. And this is where we host our drying racks, and we have another one, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna need quite a few more. And we don't always use our window screens, so if you have some extra window screens, you can lay those flat, and you can also dry them on top of window screens. We don't really use our screens until fall time. All right, and there they are. It's really, really easy to get sidetracked from your actual duties in the garden, especially when you see beautiful flowers like that, and those beautiful flowers are ones that you're waiting on to really trial and have fun with all of its medicinal benefits and healing benefits. So I am just super excited for this year because we are learning so much about that, and I'm really excited to be able to share that and that process and the knowledge that I learned along the way. So next on the list is watering for today, so I better get to it. Watering's gotten a lot easier since Jason's hooked up all these automatics, so really I'm just watering our containers and the raised beds are getting watered on their own. But one thing I notice is that when you don't water things by hand, you no longer have as close of a relationship with that garden. And that relationship includes seeing what it's up to, if there's anything affecting it, if there's anything that looks like it's struggling, if there's a lot of weeds, all of that stuff, something that needs to be clipped or trimmed. We still walk through the gardens, but I used to be where I would put a hose in the garden and let it soak, and you know, while it's soaking, then I'd maintain and do all that kind of stuff. But now that I just turn it on, I then use that time while it's soaking to go and water other things, so my watering's cut in over half the amount of time. So it's amazing, which I'm able to use that time for other things that I like doing, and it's allowed me to just be more freed up with the kids, so we're not just constantly working in the garden, which I love, but you know, on hot days it's nice to just flip a switch and it's done, you know? So what I've noticed though is that my gardens are getting more weeds, and usually I don't get that many weeds because I maintain them all the time, usually. Because when I usually water them by hand, I have that relationship of being up and close to it and seeing what it needs most at that time. So that's one thing that I do miss about not hand watering, but there's nothing else. Especially on a 90-degree day. So, all right, I better get to work and get some of my other tasks done. So if you guys like this video, just give it a good thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell. You know what to do if you like it. So, okay, all right, thank you so much. We'll see you, I don't know, tomorrow, next day, soon.